Hey guys, so I'm sure most of you have already heard about this rumored, supposedly upcoming Smash-like platform fighter featuring characters from the Warner Brothers franchises, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. I first heard about this one from a post by the Demo Scout over on Twitter, and Hungrybox has made a couple of videos about this rumored fighting game. His thumbnails are, of course, irresistible, so I'm sure a lot of you have clicked on those. Anyway, people keep asking me about my thoughts on this one, and initially I was going to wait and make a video on this topic a little later because I'm currently behind on some videos. I still haven't finished the After Sora video, but yes, that video is still a thing. It's just taking me a little longer than expected. Hopefully I'll have that video done this week. My life outside of YouTube stuff has been extremely busy the last few weeks here. But hey, better that I've been really busy after Sora was announced and released and stuff than if I had been too busy in the lead up to his reveal to cover all the rumors and stuff beforehand, right? So partly why I decided to make this video now is, one, it's topical and I didn't want to wait too long on everything that's happening, and two, just to let everyone know, yes, the After Sora video is still happening. And I have a Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl DLC prediction video I want to get out there at some point as well. Basically, I want to update my predictions now that we have all that data mined info and the actual Nickelodeon game in our hands now. Once the After Sora video is done and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate speculation stuff is totally out of the way, I should be in the clear moving forward to make other videos more regularly. And future videos I do after Smash speculation stuff likely won't be such massive endeavors like these after videos have been, the videos I make after the characters are released. Those videos tend to bog me down. There's just so much to cover, it gets me kind of behind schedule, trying to compile everything, write the video out, film it, edit it. It takes a while. It ends up making me struggle, unable to cover current topics I'd like to talk about at a consistent pace when I have one big video that I keep having to go back to, and I don't want to make a bunch of small videos in the meantime because that just makes the big video, the After Sora video currently, takes forever for me to actually get done. But once that video is done, shorter videos on more day-to-day topics should start becoming the norm around here. Okay, so with all that said, we have a current topic to cover right now, and that is the rumor of a Warner Brothers platform fighter in the vein of Super Smash Bros. I first saw this rumor being discussed in a Twitter post, then I watched Hungrybox's video on it, and my Discord has been talking about the rumor, but from what I can tell, it actually all originated from a single Reddit post. So this was posted on a Reddit burner account, an account made solely to post this leak, called Huge Leaker Actually, and they titled it NetherRealm Leak. NetherRealms is the studio behind the Mortal Kombat series of games, though this one being titled NetherRealm Leak is likely slightly inaccurate, as you'll see in a moment. So here's what the Reddit post says. Got info on the new NetherRealm game, obviously a burner account. Not gonna provide and proof to the mods or anyone, sorry. Not going to risk it, but just save this post, trust me. The new NetherRealm game is a Warner Bros. Crossover platform fighter. Yes, new IP technically. Yes, it is based off Smash Bros. And now Nickelodeon All-Stars. But this was in the works before Nickelodeon was even announced. It's a tag team game. I'm not sure if that means you pick two characters and switch between them, or if each character is actually a pair, or if each character is an individual and you only switch when you lose a stock. All I know is there's synergy between certain characters, which implies custom teams. Characters I can confirm are in the game. Shaggy, Scooby-Doo, Gandalf, Lord of the Rings, Tom and Jerry, Batman, Fred Flintstone, Mad Max, Harry Potter, and Ron are apparently in, but the rights are weird, so they stopped development on them. Not going to lie, this may have been said in jest. Johnny Bravo. I'll talk more in depth about each of the fighters mentioned here and the tag team element they could be going for a bit later in this video. They go on to say, I know some more, but I'm holding off on sharing until after the game's revealed. Then they wrote Origin. I was told the origin of this game was actually due to the memes based around Shaggy getting into Mortal Kombat in his Ultra Instinct form. Obviously, NR wasn't going to put him in a game like Mortal Kombat, so ideas were tossed around, and Warner Bros. Loved the idea of combining their properties and establishing more Warner crossovers, as you obviously saw in Space Jam 2. This is all I have to share right now. I know it sounds ridiculous, but you're going to look back at this post soon and wonder how the F this was actually real. No idea when it's being announced, but it's been in development for a while. So it wouldn't surprise me if it's at the Game Awards or showed earlier next year. No idea though. And then there's a couple of edits. Their first edit is basically just a link to a copyright for the title Multiversus, which might be the title of this game. And then their second edit says, let me say some more on platform fighters. This isn't the only one in active development, and those at NR/Warner have known this for a while now. It's an open secret in the industry that after the success of Smash Ultimate, combined with Nintendo's complete tone deafness towards their audience and player base, a lot of Western studios have begun to capitalize on the opportunity to make their own platform fighter that doesn't treat their player base and competitive players like Scooby-Doo-Doo. The numbers competitive Smash, especially Melee pulls, is not lost on the Western studios, and the opportunity to take a slice of that pie is extremely apparent. NetherRealm isn't the last. I know of at least 2 others with major IP that are developing others, all based off of Melee speed and depth. NetherRealm I just have the most info on because, well, I won't say any more, so I don't get fired. But there's at least one other that, as a studio, is significantly bigger than us, and you already know a little about it. All I'll say on that, because I don't have much info. I have no idea, no guess at what that other studio could be that they're talking about. But they're saying that there's other platform fighters also being developed outside of this Warner Brothers one, apparently. So once this rumor started gaining attention, Jeff Grubb posted this. This WB platform fighter is real, but it is not a NetherRealm game. Come on. So maybe the Reddit poster just attributed everything to NetherRealm to protect where they actually got their info from or something. Who knows for sure, but NetherRealm, of course, has tons of experience making fighting games, at least more traditional 2D style fighters like Mortal Kombat, but 2D fighter or platform fighter, they'd be a very competent developer for this one, mattering to how involved they actually are here. If Jeff Grubb's right and it's not NetherRealm, or if the Reddit poster is, say, half right and NetherRealm is involved, but not actually the developer of the fighting game itself. Also, beyond just this Reddit post about it, the trademark for Multiversus, if that is actually the title of this game, and that's what the trademark is, and Jeff Grubb's post here, we also have this job listing from back in February by Warner Bros. Games San Diego, which could fit the bill for this rumored WB-themed platform fighter. Alright, so that's a lot of solid evidence that this one likely will come to pass eventually, and possibly we'll see this game officially revealed at something like the Game Awards if it has been in development for a while now. So, could we be entering the golden era of Smash-like platform crossover fighters? Will we see a bunch of crossover fighters being announced, all trying to dethrone Smash as the top dog crossover fighter? Maybe. The Reddit post claims more games with this concept could be coming from other companies. And I have no idea if the part about Western studios is true or not, if some of them have actually noticed Nintendo's seemingly intentional ignorance of treating Smash Bros. As a competitive fighter, but if they have noticed that, it could make sense they'd want to create their own Smash-like games to fill that void and cash in where Nintendo refuses to. But this, of course, wouldn't be the first time an attempt to emulate the success and popularity of Super Smash Bros. Has been made. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale attempted to be the PlayStation Super Smash Bros. Many years ago, but that game really dropped the ball. Ironically, after all the third-party characters from PlayStation games that are now in Smash Ultimate, Super Smash Bros. Has kind of become the spiritual sequel to PS All-Stars Battle Royale. And other attempts have been made beyond PlayStation Battle Royale. Even WB properties such as the Cartoon Network fighting game Punch Time Explosion was an attempt to make a Smash-like game. And of course, platform fighters as a genre has several games out there like Brawlhalla, Rivals of Aether, and Slap City. Though I feel in all of these instances, the magic of Super Smash Bros. Has never been totally captured. Either the gameplay isn't so great, but the pool of characters to choose from is pretty good, or they drop the ball choosing characters even if the pool of characters is pretty good, or they get the platform fighter gameplay right, but the cast of characters just can't possibly hold a candle to what the Super Smash Bros. Roster has. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl is probably the closest we've seen to capturing both of these aspects of Smash correctly in another game. It has a cast of a large pool of franchises and characters that are exciting to see crossover with each other, and it has good gameplay. Although Nick All-Star Brawl, of course, doesn't have the polish and the budget of something like Smash Ultimate, so it remains to be seen if in time and with updates, maybe Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl will become a more high-quality, finished feeling game with a great experience. But it's very exciting simply because it has the two elements that make Smash work: an exciting pool of franchises and characters to see crossover with one another, and developers who understand platform fighters and can make a strong game with strong gameplay. It's just a matter of if they'll have the budget and time to continue the game forward and get it somewhere very polished and very good. Of course, if this rumored WB game is actually in the works, it could be yet another contender that might have those elements that could give Smash a run for its money, and potentially even have the missing piece Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl is currently struggling with: a high budget and a polished experience. Whether or not NetherRealm are the ones actually making this game, or if the game even exists at all, it's not certain, but if it is getting the care a Mortal Kombat game or an Injustice game would get, that could mean a strong, polished platform fighting experience. And the Mortal Kombat and Injustice games are no strangers to crossovers. They have Spawn, Alien and Predator, tons of horror movie icons, Hellboy, and even the Ninja Turtles, some of whom are currently battling it out in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. All of these have been guest fighters in NetherRealm games, so they are no strangers to the popularity of crossover fighters. That having fighters from other things crossing over into a fighting game is very popular, it's very exciting, they already know about that, they've had it in their games. What's really hilarious to me about this WB game is that it may have all started because of the Ultra Instinct Shaggy meme, a meme I've watched grow for a long time now. It's mind-boggling to think it might actually have created a new Smash clone game. I was already shocked how popular that meme had gotten, so let me explain my own personal history with it, because I think I observed it a bit longer than most people have. I'm a fan of the Dragon Ball series. I grew up watching DBZ and have followed Dragon Ball stuff ever since. Dragon Ball Super is the latest Dragon Ball series show that's out there. And several years ago when it first started, I was watching that show as it was airing in Japan, and the episodes with English subtitles would get put up online shortly after. I'd download and I'd watch them. Trying to keep up with that show as it was airing in Japan, and again the episodes were just showing up online with English subtitles, meant going on various Dragon Ball forums and such to see when the latest episode would drop, or where a version with English subtitles could actually be watched online or downloaded or whatever. So to keep up with the show, you had to somewhat be interacting with the Dragon Ball Super online community. And they, of course, like any online community, had their own memes. One basic meme was to make ridiculous tier lists of power levels for fighters, as the power levels of Dragon Ball Z characters, or Dragon Ball Super characters in this case, are always ridiculous, and trying to make tiers is it's just funny. Generally, these tier list memes would have lots of transformations of characters that didn't actually exist, and occasionally they'd add characters from things outside of Dragon Ball stuff. Usually these were characters that have been shown to be ridiculously powerful within their own shows. Characters like Rolf or Ed from Ed, Edd and Eddy, both of which have been shown to be insanely strong in the Ed, Edd and Eddy universe. At some point, Shaggy started showing up on these meme tier lists, and this generally seems to be going back to this one Scooby-Doo movie, Scooby-Doo Legend of the Phantosaurus, where at one point Shaggy gets hypnotized and becomes basically an unbeatable fighting machine, which is very similar to the state Goku goes in, Ultra Instinct, which was a new ultimate form of Goku in Dragon Ball Super. So adding Ultra Instinct Shaggy to their tier list, and specifically making him one of, if not the most powerful character on the tier list, was sort of a running gag with these tier list memes. It was very funny if you were following Dragon Ball Super and seeing the ridiculous tier list people were making. Now flash forward like well over a year later, and I had sort of forgotten about the Shaggy Ultra Instinct meme, when suddenly it was all over Facebook. Now this happens with lots of memes. Like a year after they're created within their own communities, they end up on places like Facebook, and the normies start talking about them. However, the Shaggy Ultra Instinct meme was really shocking to me, because without the context of Dragon Ball Super and the tier lists people were making, it was just this wildly random meme about Shaggy being ultra powerful. Still, it was very funny, obviously, and people kept it up. Once this meme got really popular, there were people campaigning to get Shaggy into Mortal Kombat. Half because of this meme, and half because Mortal Kombat has done horror crossovers, and Scooby-Doo falls into that genre, sort of. But nothing came of it, and the meme kinda faded. Until the DVD release of the Mortal Kombat animated movie, Legends Battle of the Realms. That movie came out and had this animation during the opening. Essentially, this was a huge nod to Ultra Instinct Shaggy and the push to get Ultra Instinct Shaggy into Mortal Kombat. And now, apparently, the idea of Shaggy in a fighting game may have sparked an entire WB platform Smash-style fighting game. It's unreal to see how far the Shaggy meme has actually gone. But here we are. We may finally get to fight as Shaggy in a fighting game, and it all started with these bizarre Dragon Ball Super tier list memes. The other really interesting thing to me about this rumored game is Warner Brothers wanting to do a giant crossover fighter. This actually makes a ton of sense after what we saw with Space Jam 2. Now, I didn't actually go see Space Jam 2. I'm a big fan of the first movie, but I'm not a big fan of LeBron James, and the second movie just, I don't know, didn't appeal to me. But from everything I heard about the movie, it's actually less of a sequel to Space Jam anyway, and more of a movie about Warner Brothers as a multiverse, and it's really more a movie where you're just sort of spotting references the whole time. At least that's how everybody told me about the movie after they saw it, and, you know, the things I've seen online of all the references the movie has. Now, I have mixed feelings about crossovers of that nature, and I'll talk about that in a bit, but the fact remains, Warner Brothers clearly would like to brand all of their franchises under one giant Warner Brothers umbrella. I think this stems from seeing things like the Marvel Cinematic Universe and how good that's been doing, and yeah, even things like Super Smash Bros. And how extremely well Smash Bros. Is received. Maybe even stuff like Fortnite with all of its crossovers have been noticed as being super popular. I think lots of these giant companies with control of tons of independent properties are starting to realize the power and popularity of actually acknowledging and celebrating these properties together under one roof. I'm unsure why it's taken this long for these companies to realize people generally like that sort of thing, but here we are. The characters and mascots from franchises hold a lot of sway with the general public, and the characters themselves are often what drives people to buy, watch, or play something simply because it involves that character. In fact, I'd say a big reason Warner Brothers and Disney are such mega corporations with tons of beloved franchises under their belt is because those two companies have two of the most beloved characters representing the company as a whole: Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse. I think without those iconic characters, these two companies probably wouldn't be as powerful as they are today. The brand recognition and love for specific characters really does help companies in a major way by having the public relate to and buy things from that beloved character and that brand recognition. There is a lot of power in the characters people have feelings for. People have feelings for those characters. And when you own a lot of franchises, that means you own a lot of characters. And when you create a singular thing with lots of those characters interacting together, you end up drawing in fans from all over the place who show up to see a franchise or a character they are loyal to. This is the power of big crossovers. Now, like I said, I actually have, surprisingly, mixed feelings about this. Despite loving Super Smash Bros. And the fact it's a gaming crossover, I do have some hang-ups about crossovers in general. Smash, I think, works really well because it's mostly Nintendo stuff. The games have a style and feel that is very Nintendo, so it all fits together in my mind very nicely. It feels right. I want to see Mario interact with Link, interacting with Kirby. That works so well. It feels like these things are at home with one another. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl feels right to me as well, because all of that Nickelodeon stuff, all those Nicktoons feel at home with each other. I think of them as part of the Nickelodeon overall experience. I've seen some people wanting Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl to simply become a cartoon fighter, just pulling cartoon characters from all over the place. Get Peter Griffin in here, get Homer Simpson in here, get Bugs Bunny in here, get Fred Flintstone in here. And I kind of disagree with that. I think there's something to lose in straying too far away from Nick stuff. For instance, for me personally, the Ninja Turtles don't feel quite right here. But I've made peace with that because I acknowledge to a younger generation, SpongeBob, Loud House, and TMNT are what they think of Nickelodeon being all about. So that's fine to me. It's just a different generation of Nickelodeon fans, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fits here for them. Smash has somewhat strayed away from being a Nintendo fighter with all the third-party stuff we're getting these days. Although many third-party characters do feel at home with Nintendo stuff. from different perspectives, mattering to your age and what era of Nintendo you played Nintendo stuff in. For instance, Mega Man and Castlevania feel like old school Nintendo games to me, despite being actually Capcom and Konami. Sonic the Hedgehog and even Cloud fit really well as rivals of Nintendo, so they still kind of fit being here fighting Nintendo characters. And Sonic especially, of course, now has been in tons of Nintendo stuff. There's tons of Sonic games on Nintendo systems at this point anyway, that, Sonic just fits. There's a big conversation to be had here whether or not each character fits well in a Nintendo crossover game, or if this is now just a gaming crossover game, but basically most of the stuff in Smash has a strong connection to Nintendo in some way, whether that's as a rivalry, a game that used to be on Nintendo consoles, or a game that's still on Nintendo consoles. And the stuff that doesn't quite fit at least falls into that celebration of gaming as a whole thing. So style-wise, Super Smash Bros. Seems to retain its identity fairly well while also being a giant crossover. A crossover where it's exciting to see someone like Banjo come home to Nintendo, or just see some other video game character show up and fight other video game characters. I think it's occasionally skated a line where it could feel a little off to some people, but overall I think Smash has its video game crossover style down. Most people, I think, have an easy time accepting the characters we get, and they work together well as a giant video game crossover. I mentioned before the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and of course the Marvel characters work well with each other. They were written as one universe, so they just end up working. There's lots of stuff people are still waiting to see from the Marvel comics to actually show up on the big screen someday, so there's a vast pool of Marvel stuff that people are constantly excited to see show up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And here's where I start to see a bit of a potential issue with this Warner Brothers crossover platform fighter, this rumored thing. I don't think many of the characters or series the characters are from are seen by fans as being related to one another in any way. I don't think people acknowledge these different franchises as all being WB-owned franchises. That branding has only ever been in like a legal corporate level, that these are owned by Warner Brothers, and it's never really been presented that way to the fans. Over the many, many years these franchises have existed, the fan bases have always seen them, I think, as being separate, or the things they're linked to aren't everything Warner Brothers owns. But I think Warner Brothers is acknowledging the power and potential of crossovers and would like to change the way the fans see these series. They want to see them as all under the Warner Brothers umbrella. They really want audiences to be aware of what franchises are Warner Brothers owned and start seeing them as connected. Again, we can see this in Space Jam 2. Personally, despite not seeing the movie, just looking at what references they have and which characters and franchises are here, it feels very disjointed and random to me. I don't know if this one works. So while in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, I'd be excited to see other Nicktoons like Rocco or Fairly OddParents or Jimmy Neutron or even Doug show up in that game, I don't know if a Warner Brothers platform fighter would have me as excited to see these disjointed franchises interacting with each other. I think there was a time where the animated WB Kids stuff had a specific style. It was like the classic Bugs Bunny Looney Tunes stuff, and its extensions like Tiny Toons or Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain and all that stuff, and it had the DC animated shows like Batman the Animated Series. There was a WB Kids animated style that was there for sure. However, going for everything under the sun that Warner Brothers owns, I think might come off as totally random. Probably closer to the way Fortnite has crossovers, which feels somewhat like anything goes. But we'll see how Warner Brothers tries to brand all these things as one Warner Brothers community going forward. Now, don't get me wrong here. Some of the stuff mentioned in this rumor are things I absolutely love. Particularly, I'm a huge Tolkien fan. My dad read me The Hobbit when I was like a little kid, and I grew up watching the old 70s Hobbit and Return of the King cartoons. I even love the Ralph Bakshi Lord of the Rings cartoon that so many people make fun of. I reread The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings myself as I got older, and I was already deep into the Silmarillion and Middle-earth encyclopedia and lore books by the time the Peter Jackson films came out and took Lord of the Rings from just the fantasy genre to being enjoyed by the mainstream and an extremely popular franchise that it is today. So if this rumored game is real, I'd be really happy to see Gandalf here. I'd probably main Gandalf. However, because of that history I have with the series and my history with Tolkien stuff, I don't really associate it with all the other Warner Brother franchise stuff in any way. I don't think it's ever been presented as such, really. And while I'd be happy to play as Gandalf in a platform fighter, I'm unsure if Gandalf fighting Shaggy is all that exciting to me. I also love Scooby-Doo. I've watched Scooby-Doo my entire life, and still to this day love Scooby-Doo stuff. Me and my friends went as the whole Scooby-Doo gang for Halloween last year. But I don't associate Shaggy with Gandalf, or with Mad Max. Johnny Bravo I associate with Cartoon Network stuff, so I think he works in like Punch Time Explosion, but here it's kind of totally random. I'm not against this concept. Maybe I'll actually love this game once it's revealed, as I do love a lot of these franchises, but I love them separately. In theory, I'm not as excited to see them merging together as I am to see video game characters crossing over in Smash, or Nicktoon characters crossing over in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. But that said, let's go over each character we have apparently coming to this game individually. So first off, we have Shaggy Rogers from Scooby-Doo. I already talked about how I'm a huge Scooby-Doo fan, and if this is where we get to fight as Shaggy and it's the culmination of the Ultra Instinct Shaggy meme, pretty cool to see it come to fruition. They mention how this game might somehow be a tag team themed game, so obviously if each character has a specific partner, I would think Shaggy probably is tag team with Scooby. That just makes the most sense. Next is Gandalf. Like I said, I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, so I'd probably main Mithrandir, but I'm unsure if I want to see Lord of the Rings in a crossover game like this. Tolkien stuff is kind of sacred to me in a certain way. But if this tag team mechanic is happening, and if Gandalf is in this game, I'll probably main him. I assume the tag team mechanic might be someone like Frodo or Bilbo, but that might be weird to have a Hobbit as a fighter, so maybe it'll be like Aragorn. Tom and Jerry are cool. Obviously, there's the tag team right there, Tom and Jerry. Not much else to say about them, but if this had been a Warner Brothers cartoon fighter, and they were just dipping into things like Looney Tunes and the other cartoons the Warner Brothers umbrella now owns, I think that would have made a lot more sense, and Tom and Jerry would feel very at home in a game like that. But this game appears to have a lot more stuff than just the cartoons that Warner Brothers owns. Batman is one of my favorite comic book superheroes. Who doesn't love Batman? He's had plenty of great video games too, so I'm sure they'll do Batman right here. As far as Batman in a WB crossover though, I really associate Batman the Animated Series with Warner Brothers, and not so much just Batman himself or his other incarnations. So I'd actually love to see Batman be repped in this, but as Batman the Animated Series style Batman, and not just Batman. If the tag team thing is happening, then Robin probably makes the most sense, though maybe the Joker or something, as that's probably the next most popular Batman character, and while Batman and the Joker working together is a little weird, I imagine with the vast amount of franchises they could pull into this game, no one series will likely get a ton of characters, so I don't expect a ton of Batman characters here. It might legit be one character per series, and maybe two characters if the tag team partner thing is like a real mechanic. So hypothetically, I could see Batman and the Joker being the two characters just to pull from the Batman universe. Fred Flintstone feels kind of like Tom and Jerry to me. I suppose Scooby-Doo as well, especially with Hanna-Barbera origins and whatnot. Again, if this was a Warner Brothers cartoon fighter, then the cartooniness of it all would just make a lot of sense, having Looney Tunes, Flintstones, Tom and Jerry, Scooby-Doo. That would just work better to me. I don't know, just more fitting anyway. I suppose if he had a tag team partner, it'd probably be either his wife Wilma or probably Barney Rubble. Mad Max is a really weird one here. I like the Mad Max movies, but they are not in any way something I think of as a franchise owned by a big company that has a lot of crossover material that I want to see crossing over. Just not how I think of Mad Max. Mattering to which era of Mad Max they decide to pull Max from, either I'd assume if he does have some sort of partner mechanic, it would be his dog, or possibly Furiosa if they want to do more modern Mad Max. Harry and Ron, they say, may have been scrapped due to licensing issues, but obviously I assume that would be the tag team right there, Harry and Ron. Seeing Harry Potter fighting Gandalf probably makes sense to some people, like a younger crowd, who grew up with both of those fantasy series movie franchises happening at the same time, sort of being rivals of each other. But for me, Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter are things I enjoy for vastly different reasons, and I'd probably find it really jarring and weird to actually see them interacting in some way. I think that would be a really weird crossover that personally doesn't fit for me. And then finally, we got Johnny Bravo on here. A very strange choice if this is our Cartoon Network cartoon character rep. I'd assume Finn and Jake from Adventure Time might be more fitting, or if we're going old school Cartoon Network, Dexter or the Powerpuff Girls. With the vast range of stuff Warner Brothers technically owns, it would just be odd to see Johnny make the cut over so many other Cartoon Network characters. But hey, Powdered Toast Man and April O'Neil are in the Nickelodeon Smash-style game, so it seems having oddball choices is probably a staple for platform fighters. I think everyone wants to emulate Smash, and Smash has oddball choices. I am a fan of Johnny Bravo for sure, but has it ever been my dream to see him fight Gandalf? Not really. There's an excellent Johnny Bravo episode where he does a crossover with Scooby-Doo, so Johnny versus Shaggy does actually work for me. I think having Scooby-Doo characters in a Cartoon Network Punch Time Explosion sequel would have actually worked fine. Anyway, as for Johnny Bravo having a partner, I don't know, Susie or Carl maybe? Or maybe he'll have another old school Cartoon Network character as his partner that's totally outside of his own series. If Carl or Susie became a playable fighter, they made the cut, with the gigantic plethora of characters that Warner Brothers can pull from under their giant pool of possible franchises, it would be the weirdest character choice in a fighting game ever, in my opinion. I don't think I ever thought Carl or Susie would ever be playable in any game, even a normal like Johnny Bravo themed Johnny Bravo game, let alone a giant crossover fighter. If you had a side or minor Johnny Bravo character playable, that would be really weird. According to this new Hungrybox video, Rick and Morty are rumored, or at least Rick is rumored. Makes sense. I assume Adult Swim would get something here, and Rick and Morty is super popular right now. Plus, it was in Space Jam 2, so yeah, it fits with what they decided to reference as their franchises in that movie. Honestly, watching Space Jam 2 might be a good start for guessing at characters for this game. Even LeBron James himself, I could totally see showing up here. And obviously, a WB fighter should have a Looney Tunes character. Assumedly, Bugs Bunny would be at the top of the list there. But this is speculation for a hypothetical game that is only rumored, so let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Hungrybox is also saying it's free to play and has cross-console play and voice acting for all the characters. If it is a big WB backed budgeted game, I imagine voice acting, will probably happen. As far as free to play and cross console play, the fact that the game is still just a rumor, I'm not even going to speculate on that sort of thing. Alright, well that's everything I wanted to talk about in this video. I will try to get the After Sora video done this week. That is my goal, so hopefully it'll be done soon. It's already taken way longer than I expected it to, but I am going to focus and buckle down and try to get it done. I hesitate to give myself a goal because it seems whenever I say something will happen or I shoot for something, that's when I get behind on stuff. But I'm already way behind on that video, so I'm going to try to get it out as quickly as possible to you guys, hopefully this week. What do you guys think about the WB platform fighter rumors? I'm going to be maining Gandalf if he is actually in the game. Does the game sound exciting to you, or does it seem kind of odd? It seems odd to me. I just don't know how I feel about a WB platform crossover fighter, but I'll retain my judgment until I actually see some footage of this game before we get this one actually announced, before I say whether or not it looks like it's for me or not. If you guys have any thoughts or comments about any of the stuff I talked about in this video, leave them below.
Remember to like the video, leave a comment in the section below, and subscribe to PapaGenos!
Twitter, Patreon, Discord.